Hi, welcome back to MOAB, Making Music on a Budget. In this installment, we're going to take a song, rework it, put it into a different instrumentation, putting on some strings, and it's going to be a fun ride. Why? Yes, I did get a new haircut. The backstory of this song starts in a faraway land where my eye fell out all of a sudden. So I had to undergo surgery, and some very, very kind strangers took me in, and I had a typical songfluenza reaction, to this experience, which means I could either worry about what was going to happen, or I could write a song. Songfluenza, if you don't remember, means that every time there's some trauma or some turmoil or some other upheaval, I have this collection of of feeling in my soul, and I have to secrete it in the form of a song. Anyhow, I was lying there, I was writing this song in my head, and I did record a first version on the piano in the typical, usual rehearsal room that you may already know, and it sounded a bit like this. I was alone, wandering the streets of a city of blue, and a city of light. So this is just a rough piano version with a lead track, and I thought, let's punch it up somehow using MOAB, using people from the internet, musicians I can book. As the piano sound and my playing just isn't that great, I thought, let's switch it over to guitar, guitar ballad. So I contacted the pianist I'm working with via the internet. If you want to learn more about that, go to the first video of this series. And I gave him the prompt to, think of more than words when creating this kind of ballad, guitar ballad. Then I had a rather nice version with voice and just guitar. And I thought, what more can I do? And this is where I like to do something which I call remembering a song from the future. Which it's a bit of a strange concept. The whole idea is that if you were to hear Hey Jude by the Beatles and you just hear the melody line or just a part of it, I think you know this song so well that you could fill in, the part at the end where they really have fun and there are other trumpets, I don't know, but at least there are drums and it goes into all kinds of places. And I think in our human mind, we can really remember all these melody lines and the great licks that are played. So what I'm sometimes trying to do is take a song that I've written and just try to remember what the song would sound like in the future. I know it's a bit strange, but I'm just trying to audio-visualize or audiolize. I don't know, I keep looking for this word, to remember what would it look like. And in this case, I thought, well, I'm hearing a cello, because More Than Words has a secondary harmony line in it that is sung under the main vocals. I can't do that, so I thought, let's just cheat, use a cello. I found somebody online, I booked him. He came back with a cello line that didn't work at all, but that's just par for the course, because every time you book somebody on the internet, they really cannot know what you want, right? So one thing I did, and it's something that goes back to a topic we discussed in the last video, is to hum instruments. So if it's a bass line, or if it's drums, or in this case cello, strings, could even be trumpets, could even be a rock guitar, you can either hum it, sing it, whistle it, and I'm going to give you more examples later on in following videos, to emulate any kind of instrument that you need or instrumental line. So in this case, I just hummed something, I listened to the song, humming along, what would I hear? What would the cello line be sounding like? In this case, I didn't sing it into the microphone because I couldn't quite get it right. So what I did, I just played the cello on a MIDI cello, on my iPad with a MIDI sound that sounded horrible. I mean, we can have a short listen here. I mean, it was good enough to give him an idea. In this case, I say, okay, play this. I mean, you can do some flourishments, or you can embellish it a bit, but let's stick to the general idea of what I'm proposing here. So he did that and it sounded good. Let's maybe take a short listen to what he played. The next step is, and this is another part of making music on a budget, is mixing. You may remember I would not recommend mixing online because they're very good people and they have great equipment, but you are not in the room. You need to be in the same room to really get a feel for the song, especially if it's a song with fewer instruments, because the fewer instruments you have, the more weight each note has. So in this case, we hunker down, listening to the song, changing the cello line a bit, because one thing you have to remember, everything is digital. So if one note is off or you want to change it a bit, you can always cut out the one note and change the pitch and you won't hear it. So towards the end, and I want to give my mixing collaborator his due, he came up with the idea of actually changing the cello line, like copying the cello line and changing it into different notes to create a nice chord. It's just one part and it sounds great and it just adds to the general feel. After that, I think I just put another lead vocal, a final lead vocal on top, because as always, it's recommended to listen to the finished playback to really react what's happening and to really forget everything that you thought you would do while singing it. This is the singing on a budget part of recording. And of course, I have to attribute all of this knowledge to my voice teacher from many, many years ago. You can't think and sing at the same time. You just have to basically give yourself some kind of itinerary. This is what I want to sing, or this is the feeling I have, and then you just have to give yourself over. For me personally, I don't think I've achieved it yet, but what I did find is that if you try to sing in a certain style or you try to Christina Aguilera it up, it just won't work. So you really have to pull back as much as possible and just let it go and just trust that it's good enough. So I think that's actually where I'm going to leave you to listen to the song. Let me know what you think. For me personally, I like it because it's a nice song with a real message, so it's reality. As always, songfluenza means describing reality through the lens of artistic license. It is just, an honest love song. So, without further ado, what if I lost sight of you?
I was alone, wandering the streets of a city of blue, and a city of light, all on my own. I felt you guide me, keeping me sane on the edge of the night. But I could clearly see that it was just a dream. But I'm addicted to hope, and that's what you are to me. What if I lost sight of you? Would I be blinded, left wandering on the path that I knew? What if I lost sight of you? Would I be blinded, left wandering? Would I be stranded on the path that I knew? I felt you rouse as I lay trembling in the dark. Your warmth you shared when I was lost. You gave me shelter, you brought me home, just because you cared. But I could clearly see my eyes deceiving me. But I'm a sucker for hope, and that's what you are to me. What if I lost sight of you? Would I be blinded, left wandering on the path that I knew? What if I lost sight of you? Would I be blinded, left wandering? Would I be stranded on the path that I knew? That I knew.
So as I said, I'm quite pleased. I'm pleased with what I did, to the extent that I can be, because I never like my stuff and I don't like my voice. One thing I could think of, but that's more like an alternative version, I could hear it being, played with a full orchestra, and maybe some fat drums, like a power ballad. So basically, the strings are playing, the horns are playing, the drums have this full, full-bodied, full reverb stadium sound. But that's just an idea for another day. So let me just leave you with the plea to do your own music, create, create, create. I want to inspire you. Let me hear what you're doing, and I'm going to see you next time when we are going to make music on a budget. Bye-bye.